So welcome to this week's educational video. Today we're going to talk about mindfulness, and who better to get in than Elis?
Oh, you surprised me with that one.
I said I knew what I was saying.
Yeah.
And we're just going to talk about what mindfulness is, how we can apply it to our lives, and a little bit about just mindfulness as a whole. So, big question I had as well is, what would you describe mindfulness as? So I'll throw this over to you, Elis. With
They put me on the spot now. I should have really read up before. So mindfulness to me, in my work that I do with people, so people come to where I work to kind of manage their mental health, anxiety, that kind of thing. Mainly anxiety usually. So mindfulness, I always introduce it to kind of help people ground themselves, make people grateful for kind of some things through exercises. So it's about being aware of you, who you are and your surroundings, because when life gets like really busy, as we all know, your mental and physical health can suffer. So mindfulness, I think, is like a simple exercise to bring you back down to earth. Does that make sense? Yeah.
So how do you work with people to achieve that?
So usually, in my job, so for people that don't know, I work in mental health and I work to support people to be independent in their mental health and physical health. So I work with both combined, and I usually go in with the sense of, we have a few sessions, we introduce like what maybe their problem is. So say if we focus on anxiety, and anxiety is something that you're struggling with at the minute and the symptoms of anxiety, we go through like sessions of what is anxiety, we proper break it down, and then once we've broken it down and figured out what the problem is, we then go through like techniques and stuff to sort it out, or to see if we can try and support them with it to help them live that independent life. So mindfulness is one of the tools that we use, and there's loads of different tools. I couldn't name them all off the top of my head, but I've got a few that we could suggest to people.
Is that like the behavioural things?
Yeah, so like even things like just if you feel like dead overwhelmed and stressed, take a mindfulness walk, go and appreciate the surroundings around you, take headphones out, that kind of thing. I always suggest like the 5 senses one. So whether you're stressed or you just feel like you need a little bit of a break, go out and list 5 things you can see, 5 things you can smell, 5 things you can touch, and all those kind of things, all your senses, because it brings you back down to you, because it's all the things that you can do. And because so sometimes we feel quite helpless, especially in mental health and in physical health. You think, I can't do that, but if you take it back to basics, it's kind of brings it back to what you can do rather than what you can't do.
Feel grateful for everything.
It's a very strength-based approach.
Yeah,
because we don't like focusing on what people can't do, which is very similar to here. Yeah. You always focus on what people can do.
Yeah.
I could talk forever, I'm not going to
So,
lie.
so with that, would you literally say write it down, or like
any way they can do it? So that's another thing we're very person-centred. Again, like you guys are here, it's about what that person wants to do. So like I don't benefit from writing things down, really. I like to store things, so I often type things. That helps me, but some people like to write down. Everyone learns differently. So whether you want to remember all the different things that you're grateful for, or the different things that you're mindful of, it might be that you just think about it, or it's different each time. Or you might want to write it down one time, and then the next time it's different. So you build a list of things that you're mindful of and grateful for as well, which is fantastic, because then over time you're improving your anxiety or mental health things as well.
Yeah, I guess that's something you can always go back to as well. It's like if you have those.
And I use that as a tool so that I can say to people, right, this is where you were. You only noticed 4 things 3 weeks ago. Now you've got 10 things. So it's nice to see progress. We're always bothered about progress.
Are these sort of things? Obviously, you work with people that have already struggled with mental health and things. Are these sort of things that you would recommend people that maybe don't feel like they are struggling with that, or just to do as a general thing?
Yeah, and I think you can, anybody could do it, and it's not whether you're struggling with a mental health diagnosis or everybody's got mental health. It's whether you maybe look after yourself in that kind of way, and it can happen to anybody. So like you can let anything slip, same as physical health. So you just get to the point where you think, oh God, I'm really feeling it today, and then if you just kind of go away and maybe do these few mindfulness exercises, some people might think it's a load of rubbish.
You can sort of think
bullshit. Some people might think it's bullshit, but maybe they weren't doing it properly. Maybe that exercise just wasn't for them. It's about finding what's right for you as well. But yeah, I would recommend. I do it, and I that's from stress sometimes, but at the moment I'm doing quite well. But
I guess it helps control the stress
yeah,
as well, so
and
it doesn't all...
I always think as well, if I'm not doing it, if I'm not practicing it, why can I tell someone else to do that? That's not very nice, is it? If I'm giving it to somebody else and they're going, well, you don't even do that.
Yeah.
You don't believe in that. So I've really focused on it recently and found it's really helped. Yeah.
So what would you say the main thing is that people struggle with, that you find? Like what... I don't know if that's even a valid question.
In general, as in like mental health?
Yeah, like what do you find you're helping people the most with?
Oh, that's so hard. Yeah, because I do so much. So like my day is so different. So like one day I might be helping somebody improve their mobility, so like we do here, but more like I'll give them a walking stick and I'll help them through that. Or I might be doing anxiety management with somebody where you're uncovering so many different things and it's upsetting, but it's just what you've got to go through. The job is just so diverse and that's why I love it. It's not, I do love it, but yeah, it's difficult to say. A lot of it is anxiety, a lot of it is deep-rooted mental health diagnoses, but it's not to say that these things can't help everybody in their everyday life. Yeah.
So with the general average Joe then, what would you say is like 3 or 5 top tips to be more mindful and benefit you health each day?
Trying to think. I'd say just taking that time to notice your surroundings, notice you and keep in touch with you as a person. Because I think, and I've noticed it as well, like here, I come and I go because I don't, you come here, it's done for me, I do it all, I'm going to go. And I go into like that autopilot of, I'm just doing everything each day and I'm not paying attention to how I feel, and that's sometimes when you can let it slip. And everybody got mental health, haven't they? So it sometimes, like I say, you have that decrease in how you're feeling, and that's where like I find mental and physical health so paired up, because say if I've got say if I'm feeling stressed and I'm not keeping on top of that, that might affect my physical abilities as well. Or say if I'm not looking after my physical health, my mental health will decline. So it's about more emphasising that keeping them both in balance. You don't have to pay attention to them both all the time and make sure you're going 100%, but as long as you're balancing it out, I think that's important for your average Joe. I think it's important to do that, because we deal with people at work. I could talk for hours, I'm just saying. we deal with people at work who obviously might be at rock bottom, so it's very baby steps, grading, adapting, just making sure that we're not overwhelming people. Whereas some of those things for maybe people that come to clubs, come to Unit 1, might be, oh, I could add that into my day just to make my day a little bit better. But yeah.
Yeah, that's something like you just said, you go from one place to the other, that everyday life's just like, this hour I'm doing this, next hour, and then by the end of the day it's like, where was the point where you actually just like breathed the other day? I was saying I did a little stretching session the other week, and I had my eyes closed the whole time, and it was just really like,
but you get to
not
know your body.
done that for ages, and that was like, actually, because I didn't know what to do that day, because I felt a bit like ill and a bit tired, I was like, don't really know what to do. And then actually just what I needed was to close my eyes and just be mindful
be
of
with
it.
yourself,
So what's going to say? So with that busy person then, what would you say would be the best way to just stop and be mindful? Like how do you catch yourself? And
it's hard because everyone's different. So like what you might do might be different to what you do to what I do. I think it's about being in tune with yourself and trying different things as well, because I used to try and do like yoga and like meditation. I don't like that. I get stressed, I get bored. Whereas I like going for a walk, making sure I'm not in the habit of putting my headphones in and just putting music on. Sometimes that's nice, but for me it's about listening to what's around you, like being in the moment, that kind of thing. And different places as well, because I find if I go to the same places all the time, like say with your routine, you just fall into it. Whereas I like to mix it up a bit to kind of keep myself on my own toes, maybe. I don't know.
But to process your own thoughts.
Because I think you do go into autopilot, so it gets to the point where you just do the same things all the time. So it's nice to kind of throw something else into the mix to keep your mind busy. So it's about slowing your mind down and grounding yourself, but also keeping yourself, I don't know, occupied.
Would you say that's, you know, when people say meditation, everyone just thinks like that, most things, legs crossed and all that. Would you say that is that a form of meditation, just going out and like for a quiet walk? That
I would say so. I think it's, like I say, it's different for everybody. It's not. And then when people go see mindfulness, like people might see this video and go, not going to watch that because it's mindfulness, it's rubbish, I don't get it. But I'm not saying do 3 specific things or 5 specific things, because it's different for everybody. So your meditation, like I say, might be different to my meditation, and it's about finding what you get to be in tune with yourself. So yeah, it's not the same for everybody.
No.
But that is kind of like a form of meditation, I think.
Yeah.
Being able to ground yourself and having that, it is a skill. It takes a lot of practice, but once you get it, you're done. It's alright. I didn't like it to start off with, not gonna lie.
No.
Any kind of mindfulness, I was like, no, don't like it. But then once I started working with it and the practice of it, it's a lot better.
But the hardest thing is actually just catching yourself, isn't it? And going, oh, I actually just need to take 5 minutes.
And obviously I advocate for this, you guys advocate for this, but it's like, I can, because I work with a mental health firm, so I can go off and have a walk. A lot of people can't, so it's about also trying to adapt that and seeing how people can actually fit it into the day. Because not everybody gets home at 6 and has 2 hours to themselves. There's other factors in life, like having a dog, having a kid, like so many different things that you just think you've got to kind of take that into account, rather than giving out generic advice and expecting everyone to follow it and then wondering why people fail.
We literally just have a conversation about this.
What's the point in just giving people the same advice and then not following it?
The main thing is just like make sure that you at least have a thought of, oh, am I taking time for myself? Like how am I being mindful? Am I aware? I guess that's the first step.
And there's so many different exercises. So like I go through things like breathing exercises with people as well, and I will be open and honest with people and go, I don't like this one, but you might. So just because I don't like it doesn't mean you won't. So we'll go through it together, and if you like it, we'll practice it because I know how to do it, and just things like that.
That's good as well, because then if they don't like it, they don't think, oh, this just isn't for me. It's like, well, actually,
or
there
I'm
is
broken
other
and I
options.
can't do this. It's because you just don't get on with
This
it.
isn't your
Try
option.
something else.
Yeah.
You probably get that here too.
Yeah.
People think they can't do it, but actually they can. They just need to adapt in.
Different point.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really good. I don't know if I've got any more questions about it.
I haven't. I was quite happy with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fab.
We'll leave it at that
Solid.
then. Well, if anyone else has any more questions about
I
it.
think that's the biggest one.
Yeah.
So I think loads of people view mindfulness, mental health, and that completely different. So there'll be loads of different views in the new group. So any questions or anything that you're not sure of, or anything that you wanted to ask us or Elis, then now's a good time on these ones.
I'm happy to chat with anybody about it as well. Just anything. Obviously, if anything's more deeper, I would point you to the right people, but that's not for me. Anything like light and you think you've got a question, I can clarify things, that's fine. But yeah.
Because I like what you said at the middle, one beginning or the end, when you said
20 seconds in,
4 minutes 36, when you said everyone's got mental health, like it's not like, oh, you've got problems, you haven't, so this is for you. It's like everyone.
It's like physical health. Everyone's got physical health.
Yeah. If you don't take care of it, then you'll get the problems. But if you keep on top of it and just check in with yourself every now and then you won't have mental health problems. You'll just be taking care of it. So.
And they're so closely related, mental and physical health. So closely related. There's that many studies out there that show it. Just so many benefits from looking after one to helping the other, and then looking after the other one to help the other one.
Yeah.
So as long as you're doing something, but not loads, you're alright.
Yeah.
That's my final bit of advice.
Fab. But yeah, any questions, pop them in the weekly reflection.
Yeah.
I'm going to have loads of questions on.
Thank you, Elis.
Yeah, thanks, Elis.